Welcome to the Danube capital of Hungary, Budapest. Our today's city is the unification of three independent medieval cities, Buda, Pest and Old Buda. The unification took place in the year 1873. We are on the very top of St. Gellért's Hill in a height of 250 meters over the Danube level. And we have a look to one of the highlights in the city, which is the Liberation Monument erected having finished World War II. The statue is over 100 feet high and hopefully symbolizes an eternal peace in Hungary. Now we can see at the old Austrian-built citadel, the old fortress of the year 1851, where Austrians could keep under control whatever was moving in the city. The majestic river divides the city into two big parts. The city of Pest is the center of everything, and the city of Buda, characterized at the moment by St. Gellért's monument dedicated to the Italian martyr bishop, forms the hilly part and the historic city among the three. We're just driving over the river on Queen Elizabeth Bridge. That's the only suspension bridge in our city, one among the 8 Danube bridges. 7 others are replicas of the original constructions. That one is in 1964 and became our most modern bridge. Soon we are entering to the inner city, and the church we can see across to the left is Inner City Parish Church, which first stones have been laid down in the late 10th century. After the church we are entering to the main commercial area of Pest, as well as Budapest. An 18th century Franciscan church commemorates also the hero of the Great Flood of the Danube on the 15th March 1838, Baron Miklós Wesselényi. The White House, we can view it now, is the only one built in Moody style all over in the country. Remaining on the right-hand side, we can see St. Rufus's Chapel, with the oldest hospital of the city of Pest. Both were built out of the that time city walls in 1711. Hotel National is one of the masterpieces of the architecture of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Now have a look to the left. The house with a high tower houses Budapest's most beautiful coffee restaurant, Hungaria, or if you like, New York. This is the central station in our city, Eastern Station from 1884. On its facade there are 2 statues to be seen, James Watt's and George Stephenson's. Now this is the main soccer stadium, built by fanatic Hungarians who were delighted by the national golden team of the early 50s. And adjacent to it, there is also the Geological Institute, once again from the year 1884 in a typical Hungarian Romantic style, and with extremely beautiful handmade tiles made by Hungarian manufacturers. The restaurant Gondel was founded by a Swiss family in 1858, and until today this is one of the leading restaurants in our city. We are entering to the city park, which offers a range of amusement both for kids and adults. A good example is the zoo of 1866, together with its botanical garden and aquarium that offers a lot to learn about animals' kingdom. The Great Standing Circus also offers a variety of evening entertainment, and it's particularly beloved by children. You definitely know that Budapest is a thermal city. The city has 116 hot water mineral springs, which supply 16 thermal baths. Sea Change Bath, built in 1905, is a very good example. Imagine, even if it snows outside, you can enjoy the hot water swimming out. City Park is the second largest green area, almost a kind of recreation for the city people. Now we can see 3 marvelous castles, which were originally built of wooden and served as decorations for the first World Exhibition held in Budapest here in the city park. The architect had a heavy duty. He had to streamline the main architectural styles of Hungary. He has chosen very well. He has made the replica of various public and ecclesiastic buildings. These 4 styles are based on Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque. Here you can see a detail of King Matthias's Transylvanian palace in Vajdahunyad. And this is the marvelous 10th century replica of an existing Western Hungarian village church, whose name is Jak. Particularly beautiful are the 12 apostles over the main gate. Now let's have a look to one of the most beautiful Baroque palaces in our city, housing the Hungarian Agricultural Museum. Particularly interesting is the hunting session, where also the word hunting exhibition was held. In 1971, delegates came from over 87 countries of the world. The museum faces the statue of Anonymous. Anonymous should have been a Franciscan monk in the service of King Bela III, and to him we due the whole history of the migration of the Magyar tribe from Asia to Europe and the whole history of the Hungarian conquest. Our next visit is Hero Square or 1000 Year Square, where everything commemorates the 1000 years anniversary of the conquest of Hungary by the Magyars. Hero Square, seen from the back, in the very middle of it there is a 100 feet 36 meters high monument, on the very top of it with Archangel Gabriel, holding St. Stephen's crown and the double apostolic cross. That beautiful building serves for the Museum of Fine Arts or Visual Arts. Pictures and statues of Spanish, Italian, Dutch, Flemish, German and English masters can be seen here, apart the French Impressionists and the Greekish and Egyptian collection. Now let's have a full view of the center of the square, where we can see soon the change of the guard in front of the tomb of the unknown soldier. That is the only monument which is not of the year 1896, that was erected in 1945 to commemorate those who lost their life for the liberation of the country. Behind the coffin, we can see the leaders of the Hungarian conquest. In the very center, Duke Arpad the Conqueror. This is the top of the column with Archangel Gabriel, holding the holy symbols of Hungary. On the top of the colonnade, behind the column, there are 4 statues which symbolize the war, the siege, the benefit, and the labor. Down under, we can count a total of 14 national heroes in chronological order. We start with Saint Stephen, first king of the country, who founded Hungary in 1000 and who led his pagans to the Christianity. The second one is another king of the 11th century. László was canonized because he fought in all his life against the Cumanic barbarians for the independence of Hungary. The third one, Kálmán, was a highly educated man, the one who prohibited to burn women as witches. This way, he has saved the life of hundreds of women. Andrew II was the only one king who led a crusade to Jerusalem. And Béla IV will be popularly known as the refounder of Hungary after the Mongolic invasion in the middle of the 13th century. Charles Robert, the first Angevin king in the country, who issued the first golden coin called forint. His son, Louis the Great, who made the country as big as it was never before and never again after. Governor-General Hunyadi was able to stop the Turks as they attacked first Hungary in 1456. He was followed by his son, our greatest ruler, King Matthias, the most important man of the Hungarian Renaissance culture and benefit. The coming 3 Hungarian nobles had to fight for our independence against the Turks, and after 1686, when the Turks have withdrawn, after the Austrians, who replaced them. Duke Rákóczi II of Transylvania led the longest war of independence against Austria. And the most popular politician of the last century was the head of the 1848 uprising once again against Austria. Starting with Duke Arpad, concluding that period by the death of Kossuth, you heard 1000 years history of Hungary. This moment we are entering to Andrássy Street. Until the 20th, that was the most popular domicile of professionals, medium-class people, particularly bankers. On the main square, that beautiful French Renaissance-style houses offered the minimum of 20 rooms in an apartment. On the square, 4 Hungarians, once again, ones who gave their life for the independence of this country. Across to the left, the puppet show for adults. Adjacent to it, there is the first music academy with a memorial of Ferenc Liszt, Hungary's #1 composer. At Octagon Square, we cross the Great Boulevard, which offers 4-kilometer shopping facilities both for national and international visitors. After the crossing, we are just entered to the quarter of theatres. The cultural life is quite high in Budapest, which is provided by 26 dramatic theatres and 2 opera houses, apart the hundreds of concert halls. Now we can see Hungary's State Opera House, built in 1884, whose first superintendent was once again Franz Liszt. Looking up to the very top, you can see the total of 16 composers of the world: Gluck, Mozart, Wagner, Rossini, Puccini, Tchaikovsky, and others. Although the Hungarian State Opera House belongs to the small ones on continental Europe, nevertheless it belongs also to the nicest ones. The whole internal decoration was made by first-class Hungarian artists. Just look at the ceiling or the chandelier. All the 1,300 seats in it. Have a look to the royal box where Francis Joseph, with her most beautiful wife, Elizabeth, popularly known as Sissi, took place several times during the performances. The Hungarian State Opera House was inaugurated by a Hungarian opera composed by Ferenc Erkel, whose statue you can see now to the left on the ground floor. The Opera House was designed and built by the most famous Hungarian architect of the last century, Mr. Ebel. Now we are looking at Budapest's main Roman Catholic cathedral, St. Stephen's Basilica, the largest church and quite a short history. The church was built between 1851 and completed in 1905. During World War II, there was no public building without a damage. In this church, the dome has fallen down. A new dome has been made very quickly in the post-war years, but unfortunately there was no quality constructing material to fix it well. On the main altar, there is the white Carrara marble statue of King Stephen, who's been canonized in the year 1083, for his efforts to lead his pagans to the Christianity. The dome will be seen from here, 96 meters. And there is also Hungary's third largest orgel with 4,452 stocks. Over the main gate, under the tympanum, there can be read a Latin description: I am the way, the truth, and the life. Now we are approaching to Liberty Square. One of the major buildings of the square is the Hungarian National Bank, built by the same architect of the castles behind Hero Square in 1905. An amazing building. A lot of money have been invested in. Vis-à-vis the National Bank, there is another interesting building, the former Stock Exchange, which currently houses the studios of the Hungarian television. We are having a look to the world's second largest, definitely most amazing parliament. On Kossuth Square, there is only one parliament bigger than the Houses of Parliament in London. This is the second largest public building of the country, definitely its more beautiful one, therefore it will be often called as the jewel box of the nation. There are some 700 rooms in it, decorated in Hungarian style on the richest possible way. The parliament has also a good translated name, House of the Motherland. And that's what we feel, and that's not only how we call it. In the Parliament, there is also the office of the President of the Republic, as well as of the Prime Ministers. To build the Parliament, at the turn of the century, boomed a lot of Hungarian industries. In it, every item is handmade, exclusively from Hungarian material. The only bigger building in Hungary, bigger than the Parliament, was the original Royal Palace with its 1,500 rooms. We are back to the Blue Danube, and we can see our French-style bridge built by the world-famous Frenchman Eiffel, famous for the tower. We have seen St. Margaret's Bridge. And we just have a look back to the old town, named also as Castle District. Over St. Margaret's Bridge, we can have a look to St. Margaret's Island, which is the largest and most beautiful public park in our city. A fully pedestrian island where you can find a lot of fun as well as sport facilities, including spas, swimming pools, athletic stadiums, open-air theatre, drive-in movie, many more. We are in the main street of Buda, and we can see the first out of its 5 churches, which is a Greekish Catholic church, adjacent to the most beautiful and still functioning Turkish bath, which have completed 350 years only. This is our smallest spa, therefore certain days of the week are reserved for the ladies and the rest of the week for the gentlemen. That street was called Main Street during the Turkish times because that was their main commercial area. The big brick building built in the 50s is the Military Supreme Court. Two Catholic churches can be seen now. The first is St. Elizabeth, with a monastery. Both are dated from the second half of the 18th century. The other one is called St. Anne's in the watered town. Now we are in the watered town of Buda, called like that because for many centuries that was the flood area. In that beautiful old house overnighted the world-famous Italian Casanova. The fourth church has appeared. This is the Protestant church, once again decorated by handmade, beautiful tiles made in Hungary. The last church of the main street belongs to the Christian order of the Carmelites, once again with its nunnery. Have a look to the majestic royal palace from Clark Square. named after the Scotsman who built the first standing bridge between the two major towns, Buda and Pest, in 1849. Two lions on each side well guard the bridge until today. We are leaving the city of Buda behind us. Buda was a younger brother to the famous Han, Attila, and we enter to the city of Pest. Pest is the largest but youngest among the three cities forming Budapest. Buda offers more history, more green and residential areas. The Danube is 28 kilometers long. At Budapest, it has 8 standing bridges, 1 more in construction, and 4 islands. We are re-entering to the city of Pest, and we already see Roosevelt Square. The American president, having visited Hungary, became very popular in this country. The modern buildings are all 5-star hotels. And we can also look back to the Liberation Monument upon St. Gellert. We can see 2 turn-of-the-century buildings. That one is the Ministry of Home Affairs, and its neighbor has been recently sold. According to the projects, another 5-star hotel will be here. The modern building serves 4 government offices, and its neighbor is the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, the home of culture, science and knowledge for over 150 years. This is Hungary's Royal Palace, which currently serves 6 various museums and exhibitions. Enjoy the view with the Royal Palace and the Chain Bridge. Driving back to Buda on the Chain Bridge, to the left we can see once again the Royal Palace, upon Castle Hill, and to the right its civilian tower, where Matthias Church's new Gothic tower landmarks the castle district. In front of Matthias Church, the 7 towers of the Fisherman's Fort can be seen as well. Unfortunately, they are not original. This is a reconstruction from the turn of the century. The original part of the fortification was built by the Fishermen's Guild. The tunnel under Castle Hill helps to cut our way to the further central parts of Buda. We start to climb Castle Hill. Here is Fisherman's Fort in its full beauty. The main purpose to reconstruct that part of the old fortification was to give a view, quite a breathtaking one, to the Danube, to its islands and the main monuments in town. That street was the main street of the castle district for over 700 years. A lot of restaurants, exhibitions, and souvenir shops characterize it. Just arrived to the main square of the castle district, the white building was the Town Hall of Independent Buddha. On the main square there is also the Holy Trinity statue erected by the citizens of Buda in 1710, those who survived a big Black Death epidemic. Matthias Tower of the same named church with its 80-meter height can be seen, and to the left there is the original medieval tower named after the founder of the church, King Bela IV. Matthias Church is the most inviting church in our town. It has a very long history, and that history is nothing but the summary of the history of Hungary. Fisherman's Fort has 7 towers to commemorate once again the 7 heads of the Magyar tribe of the conquest in 896. Entered to the most magnificent church in Budapest, a church with 3 names. Officially, it is called the Church of Our Lady of Buda Castle. Short after the death of King Matthias, it was already called Matthias Church, after him. And legally, it is also a coronation church, although only 2 coronations took place here. We can see now the main monument in the church, the famous medieval statue, the so-called Madonna in the Walls. The hand-cut lead crystal windows tell us the history of the Virgin Mary and the 2 Hungarian female saints, Saint Elizabeth and Saint Margaret. On this place there stood a Roman Catholic church since the middle of the 13th century, a church which have been destroyed many times but each time rebuilt. The current church, which is the replica of the original 13th century one, is from the turn of the century. You hardly find another Roman Catholic church decorated so colorfully like this, but it also has its explanation. The king, Bela IV, who founded this church around 1250, was married with a Byzantine princess, and the princess coming to Hungary was accompanied by all her masters, architects and decorators who, a similar way, decorated the original church. even equestrian statue can be seen as well. And the view from the top of Fisherman's Fort. There are hardly any lucky cities, just as ours, having such a large and long river, almost in the very middle, to have so many hills near the river, and to have an architecture where palaces, buildings, should they be public or private, just overlook the Danube. This is the beautiful little town of Szentendre, just in the outskirts of Budapest, 25 kilometers to the north along the river. This is the Serbian Museum. Szentendre is a unique city where we have to mention about 3 nations, 3 cultures, 3 civilizations, 3 architectures, 3 religion, as well as 3 scripts and 3 languages. About 10% of the little town's population are of Serbian origin. This is Saborna, the Vescoval Serbian church, built in the second half of the 18th century. Until the early 16th century, Szentendre was a pure Hungarian city. But when the Turks, the Ottomans, occupied Southeast Europe, then many people, basically Serbians, Greekish and Bulgarian, had to leave their homeland behind and refuged to the north, where they were permitted by the Hungarian king Andrew to settle down here in the neighborhood of the Hungarian capital Buda. In the meantime, we are arrived at the High Square. Look at those beautiful Serbian commercial houses. They had their stores on the ground floor and they had their apartments on the first floor. The epidemic cross was erected by the Szentendre people in 1763. Szentendre will be often called as the artist's city, but it also attracts international shoppers. St. Peter's and Paul's Church, together with an art gallery. This is the entrance to the late Mrs. Margit Kovács ceramic exhibition. One of the old houses just transformed for commercial and cultural purposes. In the coffee shop, in summer evenings, there is also a theater available. One of the typical streets, reflecting Mediterranean atmosphere and sunshine. Come and enjoy Szentendre's special atmosphere, the variety of Hungarian handicrafts, toys, the famous local wine, and the specialties of the local Greekish or Serbian restaurants. The church, built in 1752 on the main square, is Blagovestanska, one of the main Serbian churches. You see from here only the half of the Danube due to the 10 kilometers long island in the middle. On the island there are peaceful villages where artists, and not only artists, prefer to spend the hot summer months out. Dear visitors, we would like to say thanks for your kind attention. We have started our tour down by the Danube and we would like to finish it here. And to give a nice finish, let us invite you to enjoy Hungarian folklore with us. Thank you, goodbye.